So, my name is Youji. I've lived in the East Coast for about 6.5 years, first in New Brunswick and now in Halifax. Went to university in Mount Allison. Any Mount A grads here tonight? I know you are, Bradley.
Come on.
Anyway, so I want to tell you a story about sort of my family and the connection to the East Coast of Canada, actually. So about 30 years ago, there's this German guy whose name is Peter. He was hitchhiking across Canada from the West Coast to East Coast. In the middle of nowhere in Ontario, he was picked up by a Nova Scotian license plate, and he's hitchhiking. He doesn't know where he's going. It's in the middle of nowhere in Ontario, and this Nova Scotian guy just drove this German Peter all the way to Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. And along the way, this German guy figured out that this Nova Scotian guy's name is also Peter. What a coincidence. And this German Peter, stayed with this Nova Scotian Peter for about 6 months in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. And then he went back to Germany, started a career as an engineer. And about 20 years later, this German Peter married my mom's little sister. What a coincidence. And when I first moved to Canada about 6-7 years ago, I first lived in Montreal for half a year. I went to McGill for 1 semester, and I was just Skyping my German uncle Peter, and he keeps selling me East Coast Canada, and he told me about this Nova Scotian Peter, who was his best time at the time when he was hitchhiking across the middle of nowhere in Canada. So in my first winter in Canada, I traveled to Nova Scotia, and my second night here, there was a power outage. I originally planned to travel across the Maritimes, going all the way from here, all the way to New Brunswick, and checked out Mount Allison. But because of the power outage, the buses were not running, so I was stuck here for a few more nights. But eventually I made it to Sackville, New Brunswick, and I decided to do my degree there, and that was almost 5 years ago. I graduated in 2017 from Mount Allison, and now working on a graduate degree in chemistry, teaching chemistry at Mount St. Vincent University. The Mount grads here. Sorry I missed you guys, because I just started teaching this year. I think that's pretty much about the story of my family. And because I'm a technical guy, I'm a chemist by training. If I go to a networking event like this, I tell people I am a computational biochemist by training. And what the hell does that mean? I've been working in this field for a few years. Basically what it means is that I create softwares and use softwares for chemists and biologists to solve their problems. I write softwares and I give it to other colleagues to do their work. So I'm basically a computer scientist and a biochemist at the same time. That's another reason that I actually founded a no-profit organization called Scientists of the Maritimes. We are a online newspaper, online media that talks about scientists' stories across the Maritimes, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and PEI. For example, we're getting out a story soon. Have anyone heard of Emerson Packaging in Nova Scotia? One of the biggest, they are the biggest plastic manufacturer in the East Coast. They have over 400 employees, and no one here have heard of them. And That's exactly the case for the businesses here in the East Coast. They have amazing product. They just recently got out a biodegradable plastic, which is amazing, I think. And I just went in to interview their research development and innovation manager. That was earlier back in April this year. And this story is getting out soon, hopefully. And we want to talk about this kind of stories in the Maritimes. There are amazing scientific projects going on here, and we want to attract the people to come here to work on these amazing projects. Follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn on Scientists of the Maritimes. Thank you.